I should have shut the laptop the second I saw my sister's face because there's no reason her photo should have been there. She's been dead for 5 years. My name's Alex. I'm 29 and this happened just a few months ago. I live alone in a quiet rental house in Spokane, Washington. It's not a bad neighborhood. Small, old houses, a lot of retirees, the kind of place where you recognize everyone's car. I work nights at a printing company, so I'm usually awake until 3 or 4 in the morning. Most of my free time is just me, my laptop, and some random YouTube videos playing in the background. It was a Thursday night in late February, freezing cold. I remember the sound of the wind against my window and the way the heat clicked on every 15 minutes. I had a big mug of gas station coffee and a blanket wrapped around me. Totally normal night. I was bored and scrolling Reddit when I found a thread about weird websites. Most of them were joke pages or cryptic art projects, nothing special. Then I clicked a link to a site I'd never heard of. It was just a plain white page with a black search bar in the middle. No ads, no logo, just a single line of text above the bar. We know you. I figured it was some edgy viral marketing thing. Out of curiosity, I typed in my name, Alex T. The page loaded instantly and I froze. At the top of the screen was my full name, my birthday, and my current address. Below that was a timeline of my life, my elementary school, my middle school, the exact date I broke my wrist skateboarding in 6th grade, even the name of the urgent care I went to. I told myself it was just a data mining site. You know, the kind that scrapes your info off social media. But when I scrolled further, my stomach dropped. There was a photo of me at my current job, taken from behind. I'd been standing at the printer, wearing my work hoodie. I never posted pictures like that. I slammed the laptop shut and told myself I was just tired, that I'd fallen into some creepy part of the internet. But I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The next night, I tried to brush it off. Same routine, coffee, blanket, random videos. But the urge to check the site again was eating at me. Around 2 a.m., I gave in. This time, the page greeted me with "Welcome back, Alex." Whisper this line. And below that was a photo of my sister. She was sitting at our childhood kitchen table, smiling at the camera. It wasn't a picture I'd ever seen online. It looked like something my mom might have taken on an old disposable camera. But my sister died in a car crash in 2018. I didn't even own that photo. I stared at the screen, hands trembling, scrolling down. The timeline had changed. It didn't just show my past anymore. It showed dates that hadn't happened yet, appointments I hadn't booked, a list of groceries I've been planning to buy next week, and at the bottom, one final line in red. March 1st, 3:27 a.m., open the door. I slammed the laptop shut again. My heart was racing. It had to be some sick prank, right? Maybe my account was hacked. Maybe someone had access to my private photos. I unplugged the Wi-Fi router and shoved the laptop under my bed. The next few days, I didn't go near that site, but I couldn't shake the date. March 1st. I started feeling paranoid. I'd catch myself staring at my front door for no reason or checking the locks twice before bed. When March 1st came, I tried to tell myself it was just another day. I worked my shift, came home, and stayed up late playing music to drown out my nerves. Around 3 a.m., I was curled up on the couch, half asleep. That's when I heard it. Whisper, someone was knocking at my door. I froze. It wasn't loud. It was slow, methodical. I crept to the peephole. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely hear anything else. There was a man standing there. No, not standing. Just leaning slightly like he was trying to listen through the door. I couldn't see his face. He had a baseball cap pulled low and a hood over it. He wasn't moving, just waiting. I backed away from the door, grabbed my phone, and dialed 911. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped it. The operator picked up, but before I could say anything, I heard a faint sound through the door. He whispered my name. Alex. I bolted into my bedroom and locked the door. The operator kept asking if I was safe, but all I could say was that someone was outside. I heard the front door handle jiggle, just once, then silence. The cops showed up 15 minutes later. They checked everything. Nobody was outside. No footprints in the snow on my porch. Nothing. I felt stupid, like I'd overreacted. But then one of the officers asked me to look at something. He'd found a sticky note pressed to my front door. It was blank, except for a single URL, the website. I never went back on that site. I bought a new laptop. I even moved to a different apartment on the other side of town. But sometimes, late at night, I'll get this weird urge to check, like it's calling to me. And sometimes, when I'm walking home from work, I swear I see the same man, just far enough away that I can't be sure, standing on the corner, hands in his hoodie pocket, watching. I haven't opened my door at night since, but I can't shake the thought that someday when I check again, the site will have a new entry, and it'll just say, right now. The website didn't just know my childhood nickname. It knew what my dead father whispered to me from his hospital bed, the words only I heard. My name is Ben. This happened last winter in our split-level house just outside of Spokane, Washington. My wife, Sarah, was putting our 6-year-old daughter, Lily, to bed. I was slumped on the couch, scrolling through my phone, mindlessly clicking on whatever junk the algorithm fed me. Ads for weight loss pills, weird memes, articles about local traffic. That's when I saw it. A small text-based ad, sandwiched between a video of a skateboarding dog and a political rant. It just said, "Do you truly know your past? Find out." Below it was a hyperlink. It was stupid. Obviously a data harvesting scheme, but I was bored. My thumb hovered for a second, and then I clicked it. The site loaded instantly. It was blank. Just a plain white background and a single text box in the center with a blinking cursor. The header read, "The tapestry is woven. Speak a name." I scoffed. Okay, sure. I typed my daughter's name, Lily, and hit enter. Text appeared on the screen, not in a flashy font, just simple black. It read, "Lily, age 6, favorite stuffed animal, Mr. Hops the rabbit, purchased at a garage sale on May 12th. Currently hiding him under her pillow because she thinks his left ear is looking sick." The air went out of the room. My eyes snapped toward the hallway leading to Lily's bedroom. Mr. Hops did have a loose ear she was weird about, and we had bought him at a garage sale last spring. But the date? I had no idea. I felt a cold trickle down my spine. This was a hell of a coincidence. A targeted ad based on our online shopping, maybe. That had to be it. My heart was beating a little faster. I deleted Lily's name. I typed in my wife's, Sarah. The text changed. Sarah, née Miller, secretly hates the lavender-scented detergent her mother buys her every Christmas. Donates it to the thrift store on 3rd Street every January 7th. I actually let out a short, nervous laugh. It was true. We joked about it for years. But again, how? Her Amazon wish list? Her Facebook posts? This was invasive, but plausible. Then, against every better instinct screaming in my head, I typed in my own name, Ben. The screen went blank for a full 3 seconds. Then, new text appeared. "Benjamin, age 34, your father's last words to you were, 'Tell your mother her roses are.' He couldn't finish. You never did." I dropped my phone. It clattered on the coffee table. My mouth went completely dry. No one knew that. My mother had been in the hallway. The nurses weren't in the room. I had never ever typed that into a computer or said it on a phone. I had barely even said it out loud to Sarah. That moment was a sacred private ghost that lived only in my head. This wasn't data mining. This was something else. I grabbed my laptop from the dining room table, my hands shaking. I navigated to the site directly, typing the URL. Same blank screen. The cursor blinked. I didn't type anything. I just stared. And then text began to appear on its own. Letter by letter, as if someone on the other side was typing. "You're wondering how we know." I jerked back from the screen. A cold sweat broke out on my forehead. More text appeared. "The past is not forgotten. It is recorded. We simply access the records." This was insane. A prank. A hacker. It had to be. I went to close the browser, but my finger froze on the trackpad. Another line of text appeared. "You should check on Lily." That was all it took. I launched myself off the couch and sprinted down the hall to her room. I threw the door open, my heart hammering against my ribs. Lily was sleeping peacefully. Mr. Hops was tucked under her pillow, just one sick-looking ear poking out. The room was normal. I was losing my mind. I backed out, pulling the door closed and leaned against the wall in the hallway, trying to catch my breath. My phone, still on the coffee table, buzzed. A notification. I walked back, my legs feeling like lead. It was an email. The subject line was a question about your mother's roses. I opened it. The body of the email was just one sentence. We think we found the word he was looking for. Look out the window. Every hair on my arm stood up. I slowly, so slowly, turned my head to look across the living room at the large picture window that looked out onto our front lawn. The blinds were open. It was pitch black outside, the reflection of the room shining back at me like a dark mirror. And there, standing on the edge of the lawn, just beyond the glow of the porch light, was a figure. It was tall and impossibly thin, wearing a long, dark coat. I couldn't see a face, just a darker shadow where a head should be. It was perfectly still. It wasn't holding a phone. It wasn't holding anything. It was just standing there, watching the house, watching me. I stumbled backward, fumbling for my own phone to call the police. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely dial 911. I kept my eyes locked on the window. The figure didn't move. The call connected. 911, what's your emergency? A dispatcher's calm voice said, "There's someone outside my house." I hissed into the phone, giving my address. "They're just standing there, staring. They sent me emails. They know things they can't possibly know." I heard the dispatcher typing. "Okay, sir, units are on the way. Is the subject armed? Are they attempting to get inside?" "No, they're just standing there." I risked another glance out the window. The lawn was empty. The figure was gone. The police came. They found nothing. No footprints in the light dusting of snow. No signs of disturbance. They ran a trace on the website. It led to a series of offshore servers that didn't exist. The email address was defunct. They suggested it was an elaborate, sick prank. They told me to change my passwords. I did. We all did. We even moved 6 months later to a new house in a different neighborhood. But the website is still there.